9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at La Quinta Inn in Coral Springs, featuring handcrafted giftware, jewelry, and home decor, all made by local artists. Check out the Fall Boutique for Halloween, Thanksgiving items, the Gift Emporium, Deck the Halls, and the magic of Christmas. Plus, the Craft Guild invites everyone to bring canned food items to be donated to a local food pantry. If you do, you'll receive a free raffle ticket for a handcrafted prize. Don't miss the 32nd Annual Holiday Craft Show, Enchanted Elegance, on Friday, October 9th from 5 to 9 p.m. and Saturday, October 10th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at La Quinta Inn in Coral Springs. For information, go online to www.coralspringscraftguild.com and click on Holiday Show. That's www.coralspringscraftguild.com. This is the Credit Report with Bill Lewis, where your opinion matters. Call us live on the air right now, toll free, 888-565-1470. That's 888-565-1470. Once again, here's Bill Lewis.
All right, Bill Lewis, the weekend's upon us. It's Friday, and of course, if you're listening to the show on Saturday or Sunday, it means you're listening to the rebroadcast here on AM 1470 WWNN, or sister station, South Florida's only Money Talk WSBR. On the line with me this morning is Rick Case from Rick Case Automotive Group. We're talking about the Cash for Clunkers program, the overwhelming success in the program that the $1 billion stimulus package has brought to the industry, the $2 billion that was just approved yesterday by the United States Senate. And of course, Rick, is that pending the president's signature right now, or has that already been signed?
Yes, it's pending his signature, but he'll sign it today. The administration has really been pushing for this all along.
In pushing for it, I mean, obviously we talk about $1 billion, and then we talk about $2 billion more, but this seems to be, or at least in my own mind or my own opinion, the only program that, at least on its face, appears to be showing some sort of result. I mean, the government has been pumping, billions of dollars into the banks and the other financial institutions through their various TARP-type programs, and of course, you really don't see the end result of that at the moment. But Cash for Clunkers, your thought, your opinion, I mean, obviously you're one of the largest privately owned dealerships in the country. What is it doing for Rick Case Automotive Group?
Well, it's increasing our sales dramatically. Last weekend we had our biggest weekend in sales, and we consider the weekend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that we've had since August of '03. So it's increased our sales dramatically. And in August, we're looking for a 50% increase in our business. So let's take a dealership that does, 200 cars. We're looking forward to do 300 cars. And basically, the way we're figuring that to go, we've been last month we sold about 1 million cars. Some of that nationwide, that was done a lot of that was done with the stimulus program, with the Cash for Clunkers. We've been tracking right now nationwide at about 10 million cars. That's the lowest it's been in many, many, many years. We've had 16 million years, 17. Last year was 13 million cars. Well, what this program has done is elevated us from, tracking less than 10 million up to, 12 million cars for this year. But we feel that it's going to increase the government. With the extra $2 billion, you're looking at probably 500,000 more cars. So if you want to just round it off, say 1 million cars sold a month in the country, another 500,000 cars. So the way we're looking at it is we're going to get a 50% increase in sales at our dealerships over what we normally would do with this program. So it's real exciting for us, that's for sure.
And actually, according to recent reports and recent statistics here, they're showing that the overwhelming majority of these cars are in the $10,000 to $18,000 range, so it should offer some sort of affordability. Now, let me ask you something, Rick. They talk about the clunkers being traded in. I mean, obviously, the overwhelming majority, about 70% of them, are domestic vehicles over 100,000 miles. And you see these various news reports, the television cameras going around, and, they got the big Cash for Clunkers or the CFC on the car, or just, trade for junk or something along that line. What becomes of those automobiles? I mean, obviously, they're supposed to be taking those cars off the road, but what does that mean entirely?
Well, here's how the program works. Once we take the car in trade, we cannot drive the car. And what we do is first of all, we make sure we can get the customer financed. We deliver their car, and we have their car there, their trade-in, and we hold on to that till we get paid by the government, which is a pretty slow process. Like our company alone, as of today, is owed over $2 million on this program, and yet we haven't got paid for one car yet. But anyway, so when we do get paid for the car, within 6 days, we have to drain the oil out of the car and put this solution into the engine and run the engine, and it takes anywhere from 2 to 8 minutes to seize the engine up, which destroys the engine. And at that point, we have the salvage yard has to come and pick the car up, and they have to sign a statement that they will crush the car. The car cannot be resold for parts. It cannot be resold for anything. They have to crush the car. So that's how they're getting these gas guzzlers off the street and getting people into more fuel-efficient cars.
Well, I guess the big question there, Rick, is, I mean, you talk about not being sold for parts. Obviously, the engine, which is the most expensive part of the automobile, that's seized up, that's destroyed. You know, they take the car away. But, you know, I mean, can they strip the fenders or the bumpers or the basic parts for those other older cars that are still out there?
No, they really can't. The salvage company is required to crush the car.
Now, in talking about the cars and the Cash for Clunkers program, obviously they talk about 70% approximately were domestics, you know, whether it be the Ford or the Chevy type vehicles. 93% of them had over 100,000 miles. So obviously through the stimulus package here, you're taking off the older, junkier, clunkier, as they say, type cars and putting individuals into vehicles that have higher gas mileage, more efficiency. There are a lot of individuals obviously in the $10,000 to $18,000 range. The average improvement is 8 miles per gallon. But if you do not qualify, let's say I drive my vehicle into one of the Rick Case dealerships here in South Florida, and, you know, I have a no qualification. Does Rick Case have an outside stimulus package, either credit-wise, money-wise, or something to be able to put me into a more fuel-efficient type vehicle without losing my marginal clunker?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we have, through our automobile stimulus plan, which we have recently launched, people can get up to $4,500 in savings with a car that does not qualify for the program, or a car that is worth more than the $3,500 or $4,500 in trade. And of course, those kind of cars, the cars that are worth $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, those are good cars for our used car lots for resale. So we're looking to get those kind of cars anyway. That plus up to $4,500 in stimulus money makes it possible for people that don't qualify, and there's several reasons they don't qualify. Did you want to go through the qualifications?
Hey, we could take a few moments. I mean, obviously we're talking about Cash for Clunkers. We want to make sure those individuals that do in fact qualify, I mean, can come out and and see you and talk about it.
Okay. Well, keep in mind as we go through these, if you do qualify for the Cash for Clunkers based on the qualifications I'll go over, fine. If you don't, still come in because we've got our automobile stimulus plan for you. But anyway, first of all, the vehicle must have a combined fuel economy of 18 miles per gallon or less. So if your car gets 18 miles per gallon or less, that qualifies.
Who determines that, by the way, Rick? I mean, because you see these signs on vehicles all the time that says this car gets a gazillion miles to the gallon, but when in actuality you take it out on the road, it gets like a third of that. Who determines what exactly a vehicle gets?
You can go on the government's website, cars.gov, also the EPA site. It's the federal government's ruling. They got a calculator. You can go to rickcase.com and click on Cars for Clunkers, and we have the calculator right there, and it shows which cars do qualify with what the actual miles per gallon is. The other thing is the trade-in vehicle must be in drivable condition. The trade-in vehicle must have been continuously insured in accordance with state law and registered in the same owner's name for the 1 year period immediately prior to trading it in.
I guess that prevents me from going out and buying a piece of junk alongside of the road for $500, having it towed in, and getting my $4,500 rebate.
You got that right, exactly. The trade-in vehicle must have been manufactured not earlier than 25 years before the date of the trade-in. And in a case of, there's some other qualifications on heavy-duty trucks. Also, you cannot get credit for a new vehicle that costs over $45,000. So if you buy a car that's over $45,000, you cannot get the $3,500 or $4,500.
By the way, Rick, how many people do you see driving in a piece of junk that's not worth the $4,500 trying to buy a car that's more than 10 times the value of the voucher?
Not many. Not many, that's for sure. These people are all looking for a value, and I think everybody has learned a lesson, and you being in the credit business, you understand that. this economy and what happened to everyone, all of us is, they're going to try now to live within their means. So they're looking at affordable cars, and that's why when you look at a lower priced, Honda or Hyundai, where it gets a combination, they're benefiting the most from it because they cost less and they have a higher fuel mileage. So that's why the volume of business is in those categories.
That's very helpful indeed. Now, the credit, I mean, obviously, there's other programs here, other parts of the program, and they talk about the $3,500 or the $4,500 credit. Is that particular credit, okay, that's given to the vehicle, is that taxed as an income, Rick? I mean, a consumer that participates in the program, whether it be through purchasing one of the vehicles at your dealership or somewhere else, do they get a 1099 that says, wait a second, I just made $4,500 as taxable income?
No, I don't. I do not believe so. They do not.
Now, as far as the tax, do I have to pay sales tax now? I mean, it's like if I was on The Price is Right and I won this car, this really expensive car, they tell me subject to taxes, and you'd be surprised how many people can't get the car they won because they can't afford the taxes. Do I have to pay state sales tax or some sort of federal tax on the $4,500 rebate?
No, in the state of Florida, and it's one of the very few states, but the state of Florida chose not to charge sales tax on that $4,500. Now, in other states that we're in, like in Atlanta, Georgia, and Cleveland, Ohio, you do have to pay the sales tax on it. So it's handled similar to like a trade-in. Like if you in Florida, you trade in a $10,000 car on a $20,000 car, you only pay sales tax on $10,000. So this is the same way. If you buy a car, a $10,000 car, you use your $4,500 Clunker rebate, you pay sales tax on $5,500. How
about a fee? I mean, if I walk into one of your dealerships with my Clunker, can your organization charge me some sort of fee for participating in the program?
Absolutely not. No, there's no fee. The government will not allow anyone to charge any fees on it.
How about credit qualifications? I mean, obviously here we talk about a $3,500 or a $4,500 rebate, a government rebate, which essentially, you will get back, and that's my down payment toward the new vehicle. Have any of the credit qualifications changed? Have they lightened up at all, or is it a little easier for me to get credit at the lower-end vehicles because, of course, in the $10,000, $12,000 range, I'm putting 25 or 30% down?
Well, it's definitely easier because not that they might be changing the way they normally buy, but, when the banks and finance companies look at a deal, they consider cash. If you have $4,500 cash, or you have a $4,500 trade, they consider it differently because, a $4,500 rebate from the factory. But this is a $4,500, so they're treating this as a cash down payment. So, they're looking at it, more leniently. So you're more likely to get financed when you have $4,500 down than you would that's real money because it's government money than you would if it was just a normal factory rebate.
And of course, the old rule applies: cash is king.
Exactly, and this is real cash.
All right, listen, we're getting ready to go on a break. On the line with me this morning is Rick Case from Rick Case Automotive Group. After break, we'll talk more about the Cash for Clunkers program. We'll talk about what Rick Case Automotive Group is doing for those individuals that either qualify through the program, about matching rebates, offering additional incentives, versus, of course, those individuals who may not necessarily qualify for the program itself. All right, Bill Lewis here at Your Opinion Matters, 888-565-1470. Rick, your website?
RickCase.com.
That makes it easy. Zone.com. www.rickcase.com. We'll be right back after the break.
Hi, I'm Broward Sheriff Al Lamberti. Next time you hear a knock at the door, please keep the following safety tips in mind.
If someone comes to your home uninvited, no matter how nice he or she seems, lock your door and keep it closed. Then dial 911 on your telephone. Beware of people posing as maintenance workers, telephone or cable TV repairmen, even if they claim to be sent by your condominium association. Check with your maintenance office before letting anyone into your home.
By using common sense and being extra cautious, you can help law enforcement slam the door on scammers.
We've all heard enough about the economy and how challenging things are. What you're really concerned about is your own personal situation. Your bills are out of hand, the endless phone calls, and your credit is getting worse every day. You have no idea what to do. Here's the answer. Call Bill Lewis at Credit Restoration Consultants at 954-581-5050. That's 954-581-5050. Bill and his staff will help you get it all sorted out. They're experts. They know the credit industry, and they'll help you protect your rights. Whether you've got late payments, judgments,